then. It's 4 o'clock nearly. We'll have a half-time break. It'll be a half-time quiz.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We talked earlier on your driving test. We have tell me and show me questions. 14 to learn. You get the tell me question at the beginning. It's good to get right because first impressions count.
Yeah.
So it's good to learn them. It's nice to have a little bit of confidence under your belt as well. Now there's 14 of them, 3 of them under the bonnet, which I'm not going to do today because it's too hot to open the bonnet. So there's 11 questions based on general driving of this car and situations. Things related to it. So it's like a safety related question to this car. Normally you study them. You have not studied them, have you?
No.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 11. I'll do this with all my students now and see how many you can get out from straight. Well, here we go.
It's going to be 11.
Yeah, that's very confident. I like the confidence at least. Right then, no particular, well, this order. This is a sort of typical example. Tell me how you would check that the brakes are working before starting a journey.
Before starting a journey? It's like before you get in the car?
Before starting a journey.
Oh, well you could obviously get to the biting point and then try brake and see if it stops the car.
Well, it's kind of it, yeah. Well, as you move off, just test them.
Yeah, so like you get to the biting point and then like roll away and then like brake.
Well, just move off, don't forget about the biting point. Beyond that, just bring up the speed a bit. At the biting point, you're not moving anywhere.
Yeah, no, I mean like, you know, like, oh, the rolling first, is that?
Yeah, you can do that, just move up the speed, 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, and test them. What should they not feel like? What should they not do? What should they not feel?
Like, smooth? Greasy?
They shouldn't feel spongy, and the car shouldn't pull to one side or another.
Yeah. We'll say that's 1 out of 1.
Will we?
Yeah.
Tell me where to find the information for the recommended tyre pressures for this car and how tyre pressures should be checked.
You could look on the internet.
Could do.
You could check tyre pressure with a tool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. That's not bad. I'll give you that. Yeah, this question is very out of date, the answer. In actual fact, look on the internet. It's a perfectly valid answer. Even though it's not the answer, the DVSA gives the official answer.
Yeah.
They say it was to be found in the car manufacturer's guide or manual.
Oh.
It's actually written also on the side of the panel, one of the sides of the panel, and a little plaque that tells you what pressures are put in. But actually checking on the internet would be a completely valid answer, and I wouldn't mark you down for that.
All right.
And yes, to check it, use a reliable pressure gauge. So it's recognisable. Okay. Tell me how you make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted so it gives you the best protection in the event of a crash.
You make sure it's in line with the back of your head.
Yeah, spot on. There's a nice little reference you can use as well. Do you know what that is? The middle of the headrest is level with the top of your ears and eyes. So yeah,
it's about that.
Spot on. Yeah, absolutely. To give you full protection there. Well done. Give you that one. So you got 3 out of 3. I'm not quite sure how. Tell me how you check the tyres to ensure they have sufficient tread depth and that their general condition is safe to use on the road.
You can measure.
So basically, it's asking you what's the minimum tread depth.
You could search it up on the internet, the minimum tread depth, and then measure it.
No, you need to know the measurement. Could do.
1.5 centimeters.
No, you're not going to have that. The minimum tread depth is 1.6 millimeters around the full circumference, 3/4 circumference of the tyre, and no cuts and bulges on the walls of the tyre. So you get a visual inspection, make sure there's no chunks out of it.
Yeah.
In case someone hit a curves at high speed, something like that, Joe.
Yeah.
That would never happen, would it?
We're still on for 10 out of 11 there.
So far, yeah. I'm not giving you that one. Tell me how you check that the headlights and tail lights are working.
Turn the car on. Keep the handbrake on.
Let's be more specific about the question.
Well, check the tail lights and the lights.
The headlights and tail lights. How do you know the headlights and tail lights are working?
Start the car, turn them on, and check if they're turned on.
Yeah, walk around the car and have a look. Yeah, okay. How do you know there's a problem with the anti-lock braking system?
What's that?
Anti-lock braking system?
Yeah.
It makes sure it's a system that means your car doesn't skid.
So
if it's not working,
so you know.
How do you know there's a fault? You don't want to find out before you go into emergency and find out your car's skidding.
It might give you a warning light.
Bingo! Yes, spot on. Absolutely. ABS. Warning light ABS. A warning light would come on. Absolutely
5
spot on.
out of 6.
So we'll worry about it at the end. Tell me how you check the direction indicators are working properly. Pretty much like the other question, isn't it? You think about
Try them out and see if they work.
it. Turn them on, walk around. Put on the hazard lights, walk around.
Yeah.
Put them on each side. Aha. Tell me how you check the brake lights are working on this car.
Ooh. Well.
How would you turn the brake lights on? How would you activate the brake lights? Put it that way.
Oh, do you turn the engine on and you put the...
Well, supposed to turn the engine on. Okay, let's assume the engine's on. How do you activate the brake lights? What control do you think makes the brake lights work to show you the brakes are working?
The brakes.
The brakes, brilliant. How do you
Yeah.
know the brake lights are working then?
Put the brakes on and see if they work.
How? You're in the car, aren't you?
Uh,
Can you get out and walk around this time?
You could set a phone up and film it.
Could do, or you could do that, or something even easier than that.
Get your friend to look.
There you go, you get someone to have a look, or maybe even just position the car so you can use reflections
Yeah.
in a window or something like that. You can find complicated for yourself. The difference there is just acknowledging that a brake light only works with you working it, so you have to,
Yeah.
that's all it's for there. Right, gosh, it's painful. Tell me how you check the power assisted steering is working before starting a journey. We've had the brakes, what about the power assisted steering?
What's that?
Well, this car weighs a ton and it's sat on 4 wheels. There's quite a lot of friction, so the steering has power assisted steering. Try moving the steering wheel at the moment.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Right, pull down on the right. In neutral. Start the car, but keep pulling on the right. And then start the car up. Put the clutch down, start the button. And you'll feel it. If you're pulling on the right, it just gives.
Wow.
So you can feel it gives like that.
Yeah.
So that's how you know the power assisted steering, because now I can steer it like that. Literally hydraulically operated to help you. In the old days you didn't have that. This is why dry steering, you know what dry steering is, like you tried to do earlier, steering without moving. And so you can't do dry steering. Well, back in the days it comes back to the fact is if you need muscles like, you know, like you need like a bodybuilder to sort of be able to move the steering wheel, unless it's on the turn. And these days
you just check for a warning light if you don't know it's working.
no, you won't get that.
You just do exactly what we just did.
Just do exactly what we just did. Yeah, absolutely. So this is the way it gives like that. You know it's working nicely.
Yeah.
Now then, tell me how you'd switch on the rear fog lights and explain when you would use them. They need to know where they're operated.
Yeah.
All lights operate on this paddle, and all window wipers operate on this stalk, and the lights are on this stalk.
So
lots of a variety of different lights there.
The fog stuff is looking a bit like
that's that. Now one of them is front fog lights, one of them is back fog lights.
Okay.
Now it's a tell me question, so you don't have to turn them on. You just simply say to the examiner, they're activated here. That's good enough.
Yeah.
And what is the minimum? What distance? What's the minimum distance you would turn fog lights on? What would visibility need to be down to? How many meters? You probably might have done this for your theory test.
20 meters?
I think more than that, 100 meters.
100 meters.
Yeah, so if visibility is down to less than 100 meters, you put your rear fog lights on.
Yeah.
Last one. Tell me how you switch your headlight from dip to main beam, and explain how you know the main beam is on.
Dip to main beam.
So how do you switch on the headlights? Where are all the lights kept?
Here.
Great. Where do you think the headlights are? Looking at the symbols.
Got to be these ones.
Yeah. So what does that look like? That says auto. That looks like.
Yeah.
Does that look like a big light or dip light? Which of those symbols look like?
The left one.
It's there, isn't it? So how are you gonna get the lights to? How are you gonna get that button to be to there?
Be there, yeah.
How are you gonna do it?
You move it.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, twist it. Yeah, you don't have to show. You just have to tell you. Yeah, you just twist.
Okay.
You just twist that out to there, and then dip light to full beam. Do you know how that's done?
One of those.
It's forward and backwards on that.
Okay.
So backwards is dip beam. That's full beam.
Okay.
How would you get them?
I'd probably 11.
How do you know brakes are working? We've got that one. I have to watch this back and watch it out. I'm not quite sure.